Avon Skin So Soft. So what's so special about it? I have no idea. Speaking to a couple of bird watchers a couple of months ago, the topic of the conversation got around to mosquitoes and other insects biting you and what was the solution. And this bird has said to me, you know what, a fisherman friend of mine uses this stuff called Avon Skin So Soft and absolutely swears by it. And apparently a lot of the fishing community do use it. And they should know, they sit by the lake all day being eaten alive by flies. Whereas, you know, when you're on the move as a bird watcher, generally, if you keep moving, you're okay. But it's when you stand still that suddenly you get swarmed. I started doing my research online, trying to figure out what's in it. They said it's got citronella in it. So I looked into it, and it's really hard to find the ingredients online. So when I went to the shop, I looked on the back. It says it's made in Poland. None of the wording on the back is in English. And then there's a peel back. Whoop, and looked in there. And there's nothing in there either in English. But I didn't buy this online, don't worry. It's not some, you know, generic, weird, made in a bathtub somewhere in the middle of Eastern Europe. I actually bought it in Superdrug. It's the only place I can find it on the high street. So Superdrug, legit. And so went on to Amazon to check their reviews, and they do sell it on Amazon as well. And everybody, again, is saying, yeah, it works, definitely. Oh, it absolutely works for me, absolutely. And then obviously I scroll down through the comments just to see if anything, because the, you know, the sort of 1% and the 2%ers who are saying, you know, giving it 1 star, I want to see what they're saying. And a couple of people are saying they changed the formula. There was an old formula which had citronella on the front, and then there's this new formula. And speaking to, I can't remember if I was speaking to someone or somebody said it in another comment, that it wasn't the citronella that was in it. It was the oily, moisturized effect it has on your skin. When the insects land, they can't get through this oil. So what's my experience with it? I thought I'd try it. I bought a couple of those insect bands. Somebody recommended to me on Twitter, where you put them on your wrist. Apparently you only have to do one, but I tried it on one wrist and one leg, and used it for the first time in Menorca. And I was on the beach right next to where my band was. I was kneeling down in the sand trying to get pictures of some birds in the water, and 4 flies had landed right near the band. I mean, okay, they didn't bite me, but it was annoying having 4 flies on my leg. So I don't know if they were working, but I was also using this. So what I've been trying to do is separate using the bands on their own and using this on their own. It's one of those things where I think it's working. A certain other thing might have worked. It might be working, it might not be working, that we can't talk about. That happened in 2020 and ended sort of, well, in 2022, but still going on now in 2024. Can't talk about it, can't say the words. Well, I assume everybody goes through this. When you go on holiday to a hot country, and if you are white like me, even though I've got dark hair, I burn super quickly. I've got to be so careful, especially as I don't like to use suntan lotion. So what I like to do is I like to build up a sun callus or a slow suntan, sort of going out for 5 minutes front and back, and then coming back into the shade. Have you noticed as a light-skinned person, you get eaten alive by any bugs in the country, and then by the end of the holiday, as it approaches and you're tanned up from head to toe, they start leaving you alone. So maybe there's a change in your skin when you get tanned, that the bugs stop biting you. Or is it that when you've been there a while and some bugs have been biting you, your body starts to release something, going, right, okay, we're in this climate, we're going to have to start dealing with these bugs using whatever chemicals our bodies produce that we don't use anymore because they've been suppressed because we're always indoors and we're not out in nature. So I've been coming out recently doing a project. There have been a lot of bugs around me. Now, what I've noticed are the bugs do come very close. You think when you first, you know, sort of come out, the bugs are in your eyes, it's not that they're landing on you. They kind of, I think they get to a point, which is still annoying for most people and scary, especially if it's a hornet or a hoverfly. They hover near you and okay, what's that? I think they sense something on your skin. So they back off, but I still have to kind of swat. The last few days is where I've noticed the difference. My wife came out, she's not been to this wood. She said, I'm being eaten alive here. I can feel it on my back, on my arms already. And I thought, I'm not. Is it the spray? Because she didn't put it on. When we got home, she lifted her t-shirt, and on the back, she must have had about 8 bites. And I'm like, I didn't get any. My first instinct is to say, oh, it works. But I don't know it. It could be that I just come out all the time and I've built up that resistance, or the proper suntan which stops them landing on me, I don't know. You know what I just said before. So my first real clue that this thing was working was the day I came out twice. I came out in the morning, I applied it as per usual, no problem, no bugs, usual thing, just hovering around me, not landing, not giving me any grief. The second part of the day, I decided I want to come out again, so I just went straight out, put my clothes on. I'd had a shower in between, so I'd washed most of this off, completely forgot to put it on, got round here, and I had bites all over my hands, bites on my elbows. So that was the first indicator that this thing really does work for me. Always a disclaimer. I'll also say make sure that if you put it on, because a couple of times I've put it on and I've had the odd bite here or there, and it might just be where I've been in a hurry to get out the door, or I didn't want to sort of cover up my skin in layers of this stuff. I just put on a light layer, so it was enough that the insects could get through that. But I noticed, well, I have to put some on the sides of my back here because they do go through your You'll be surprised how they go through t-shirts. It's crazy. You think, oh, as long as I'm covered, it's only the exposed bits I need to put stuff on. Recommend you put it on your tops and your backs of your shoulders and down your side where your fleshy parts are. But for me, it definitely does work. Put a good layer on, and again, like other mosquito repellents are going to have DEET and other nasties. You keep putting that stuff on your skin, it's probably not good. I'm no doctor, I'm no scientist, but ideally, what do you want? You don't want to put anything on at all, So this thing is really, yeah, it's a strange sensation putting this on because it is a moisturizer. It's actually meant as a moisturizer. And the idea is it dries dry. So like where normal moisturizer is, you'd have a sheen to your skin and it would feel like the moisturizer was still on there. This, you put it on, it's wet for a little bit and then it dries really quickly. And you think, is it even moisturized? And it's not until, when I've put it on and then I have to wash it off the insides of my hands because they're oily. Wash my hands, it takes ages to wash it off. So it really does sink into the skin. And I'll say that's a couple of times where I've been bitten on my hands. I've washed it off to the point where some parts of my hands have got no more moisturizer on, and that's where the insects have got me. So it's kind of like you want to kind of like mop it up, give your hands time to dry naturally, and then get out into nature. I'll just dab it up with a bit of kitchen roll. So I hope this helps you. I think at the moment it's buy one, get one half price in Superdrug. So 2 bottles, I think it was about £7.50. So have a try. It might work for you, but most of the reviews online on Amazon are positive. It does work for people. And the ones that are kind of giving negative reviews probably didn't put as much on as they should have done. They might live in very buggy areas, or their genetics just attract. Some people just attract bugs like crazy. The one slight downside is they come in 150 milliliter bottles. What does that mean? Yeah, going through airport security. So the first time I used it and I took it to Menorca, I had to decant it into smaller bottles, take that empty through and then pour them back in. It was a bit of a faff, but that's the only way around it. Also, on a side note, it does make you smell very nice. After I've put it on, I've walked in and my wife is, that smells nice. What's that? Bonus.